Hey Philip, here is my second go at the interviews. So let's go ahead and start. So tell me about yourself. So my name is Zach Hansen. I am applying to be a UX designer. I recently just finished a Career Foundry course that took me through a project and took me through all the technical details of how to be a UX designer, which I found really fun and informative. And now that is what I am doing career wise. So, um, becoming a UX designer, and that is what I'm about. Awesome. So now the second question is, what are your strengths? So, I think some of the strengths that I have specifically when it comes to the company Billabong is that I'm a fan. It's that I've always been kind of in love with like this surf culture, um, and Billabong has always been a staple in that style wise, ahead of time. They're just you guys are just so incredibly key in the culture that I'm just so in love with. So I think that's a big strength that I can help bring. And then another thing that I'm a good fan I'm a fan, but also another strength that I have is that I think I have a pretty keen eye for what's cool and what's not. And so I think that's definitely vital, especially to a surf brand like yours. Because if because part of the surf culture is that it's just so cool. There's very other smaller other pockets that are cooler than surfing, and so I think I could really help bring my strength into your strength with that. Another strength is that I think my hobbies line up well. So I grew up, surfing and skateboarding and snowboarding, and so like I feel like that's something that I get really well. And I'm a huge fan, and I'm probably a target demographic for who you're trying to sell to. But also, I just think that having all that in mind is super helpful when it comes to designing things and wanting to show things to the world. And I think those are all strengths for me. Cool. The next question says, what do you need to improve on? What are your weaknesses? So, so one thing that I'm trying to improve on everything. So I want to upskill myself in all areas. I know that's kind of a silly answer, but I don't want to be stuck in a low skill level, but I'm always trying to get better and better. And so I want to upskill myself in all areas. And so specifically, what I want to kind of focus on next is details. So one thing that I'm pretty good about is getting things out really quickly. But when that happens, sometimes, I miss typos, I miss a thing here, I miss a thing there. And so you get work back from me pretty quickly, but then you notice some things, then it's a quick cycle. Um, but I think if I can work on just kind of getting it right better the first time, then I think that'd be something that I could really work on that would help workflow. Cool. So tell me about a project you worked on. What did you do to make it a success? So at my last job, I was a video editor, and I got to edit this YouTube video series called Train Your Brain Tuesdays, and it was really fun because I got to take a pretty direct creative role in it, and I got I got to direct how the cameras went, direct how the action went, and then I got to do it all in post. And so we did that, and then that project, some of the videos that I shot made it onto TV, which I thought was so cool. I was so stoked that some of the work that I had done video wise had made it onto TV that people watch every day. So that was something that I thought was successful, and that's a project that I still take pride in when I think about it. Cool. The next question says, give me an example of a work situation that, in retrospect, you wish you handled differently. What happened? So I've also been doing some web design, and there was this project that I was working on, and I had another designer, and we were working back and forth. But there was always this strange tension between us, and I never felt like there was a good enough time to collaborate. It was more just let me post design and let you post the design, and then we never really talked about it. but it was just like kind of the strange A/B testing where the strengths and weaknesses of one overrode the both, but we never really got to get the strengths of them both going. And so I think what I would have done differently is that I wanted to reach out maybe a bit more than I did, just to, kind of combine our work into something that was better rather than just one person overriding the other person. And so I think I could have handled that a little bit differently. Cool. All right, now it says, what are your salary expectations? So this job is for a designer job in Huntington Beach, California. So with that in mind, in my level of experience, I think I could expect $82,000 a year. I think that's fair, and I also think that's a good place for me to start and to grow with the company. Cool. Awesome. And the last question is, do you have any questions for us? I have three. Okay, cool. I do have three questions. So my first question that I want to ask is, what makes someone really excel with your company? What's kind of the key difference between someone you hire and they're just okay, and what's the difference between someone you hire and like they're incredible? And then how can I be that? So that's one question I like to ask. And then another question I like to ask is, let's say we go through with this and you hire me. What are the expectations of me in a quarter? What do you want to see from me in the first 3 months, and then maybe 6 months, 9 months? Kind of what's the plan that you have, or what's the plan you have for the role of the UX designer? So that's something I definitely want to ask. And then I also want to ask is, how do we measure success? So I want to know kind of some of the key metrics that I am trying to hit. So if it is, web views, time on page, things like that, I want to know that. So that way, that's the things I can work on and work for and work towards to get these designs to a place where they're really kind of checking the boxes. And so I want to know how Billabong would measure success in that area. Cool. Yeah, so those are the questions I have. And I think that's it. Anyways, thanks, Philip. I'll probably talk to you soon.